Thank you, Elaine. Jean is next.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Miranda Sutherland, President of the National Parent-Teacher Association of Jamaica, and I have listened carefully to many things. The National Parent-Teacher Association of Jamaica is really pleased to be a part of this debate today. The issue of parents' involvement has been mentioned in different points along the way. Parents are professionals, I want to point out. Parents are teachers. Parents are maintenance workers. Parents are at Bellevue. Parents are in infirmaries. Parents are in the prisons. Some parents are currently criminals and perpetrators of crime and violence in this country. Many of us even sitting here, including others out there, are lacking social graces, protocol and etiquette skills. It's time to establish what is called a Best PTA, Best Parent-Teacher Association. The process of that is to identify, we have identified them, a list of criteria to say if we put these things in the face of these PTAs and these parents, there will be an improvement. There will indeed be some measure of accountability to the parents, including saying to parents, if you are someone to come to your school because the school need to see you on behalf of your child, you have to respond to that with urgency and alacrity, etc., etc. We could go on and on. So even as this beautiful debate continues, we need to practicalize the situation a little bit more. And I'd want to walk away from this function today knowing that I have something to work with. Secondly, and let me just add that as a worker of the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning, there's over 20% of Jamaicans that are illiterate in this country. We have a lot of work to do.
Hopetown Henry, Seaforth High School. We seem to be moving the teacher right in the center of this thing we call accountability. We seem to be putting the teacher on it. But what I would want for is that everything else, we need to fix everything around the teacher that needs to be fixed. And there seems to be less emphasis on that. And what I am talking about those students this week that I took away the machete from, those students this week that other students hold gun on them, those a whole host of things, because we are not going to go much far down the road unless we fix these things, and we are not understanding that the teacher operates within a context.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, I'm Frank Weeple. I'm Director of the Education Transformation Team. I'd like to refer to the first point that Dr. Minot made, and also relate that to the proposal made by Dr. Rapley earlier on, which was to do with value added. Now, I think one of the directions that we want to take things is that data and evidence starts to become the foundation for making improvements and developments. In the transformation team, one of the projects that has been developed is a school data profile, which does contain benchmarking data, it does contain trend data, school by school, and so on, so that schools are enabled to do self-evaluation, to improve their improvement planning, and so on. But the one thing that we have also been working on, but that is really a major task, is the development of value-added data. Now, we all know that, you know, with respect to some of those excellent institutions like Campion or Immaculate or Womers and so on, these are very fine schools, and they will come top of league tables anyway. But there are also many good schools in Jamaica that don't reflect on those kind of tables. And the Inspectorate and others will be producing qualitative information information, that will start to get behind those things. But we also need that value-added data that looks at what a school is doing, what is coming into the school, and what is coming out of the school. And that is actually quite a challenging task. As I say, we have had some difficulties in developing that, partly because some of the base data is simply not available, not reported properly, and so on. So, I mean, Dr. Rapley said before, earlier on, that, you know, how can we start to help to develop some of those models? Well, I would suggest that that might be one area where we can actually use and tap into some of the expertise that might be available, say from CaPRI or from UAE or wherever, in order to develop a sophisticated value-added data model that will enable us to tell what really good schools are and what is happening on the ground. So I would think that's a conversation that we could continue.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, a few more. One here, and you, sir. Yes, I'm coming. I need to give the side of the room a chance as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I agree with Mr. Henry that the discussion on accountability has been putting the teacher right in the center, but not dealing as sensitively with the teacher's concerns. The devil is really in the detail. I'm employed to answer the teacher's questions. I'm an education officer. And one thing I can say, if we think about accountability as a quadratic equation, there is an order to the solution, and the order puts the ingredient critical input first before you do anything else. Nobody will listen to you about accountability unless you have first provided not all the inputs, but the critical ones. I'd like to cite two examples that made life very difficult for me. Literacy 1, 2, 3 is a primary program. It was supposed to have a delivery of reading material to the schools in September. 2 terms afterwards, the material was still on the wharf. Who could I speak to? Because when we were training the teachers told me to my face, make sure we'll get the books, you know. And I said yes, but the books didn't come. The second example is even more current. We are thinking in terms of competency-based promotion, but I haven't heard anything about the extra support. Competency-based promotion assumes that you will be able to do something with the child who hasn't achieved. I haven't heard a sentence about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
First of all, I just want to endorse what the president of the PTA said as it regards to the whole plan to have like a best PTA thing. I think that's excellent, because that would have answered part of my concern as it had to deal with how the parents are held accountable and the fact that they should liaise with the schools in the best interest of their child. The other issue, however, has to do with, I've been noticing a lot of talks about, you know, grades, academia, teacher performance as well, but as an educational institution, as a ministry, as a group, it's important that we also tap into the other aspects of the student's life, and that those are also inspected and evaluated as well in each school.